Hello there and welcome for round 9 of the 2017 Daytona DMAX Inter Enduro Championship here at Daytona Tamworth. Qualifying's just been completed and we had a surprise pole position. The man on the top the front row of the grid, Andy Spencer. Andy, pretty dynamic last lap, just 9 thousandths off the sub 56 second barrier. You must have been pretty happy with that.
Was it the last lap that happened? Yeah,
it definitely was.
That was the plan. Good. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise, but it was good to follow Chris out of the pits. Well, and because I know he knows what he's doing in these karts. I know the circuit really well, but the karts are something different, and I got to get used to them. But obviously, hopefully, that's not taking too long, and see what we can do for the race now.
All the very best of luck. Andy Spencer, our pole man. Dan's got one man that we've been keeping an eye on this season, Jordan Taylor.
Well, Jordan, quite close in the end. You were very, very close with Andy Spencer, but in the end, a couple of tenths off.
Yeah, nothing in it. You know, it's a long race, so I'll be on his back bumper the whole way. So, yeah, should be good.
Well, of course, you and Chris separated by just 0.02 of a second in the end, so top three could be a good battle throughout the race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got to watch him. I know he lost like a few chances, so yeah, I'll look out for him.
Well, best of luck.
Well, he's going to have to watch out because right behind him is Chris Hackworth. Chris, you spoke with Jake back at Sandown Park saying you're just in it for the racing, but you are in a hunt for potentially second in the championship this season.
Well, only if Bobby kind of messes up and maybe Torres. I don't know where Torres qualified. He's currently sick, I think. But yeah, it's a bit greasy at the start, so I was a bit unsure whether the kart was still sliding a lot or what. But the rear tyres are still sliding a lot. So now that it's warming up, I'm hoping they settle down a bit and we can have a good scrap.
All the very best of luck, Chris. So, Dan, pretty intense qualifying as we saw in the lights yesterday. The Inters are going to be just as action-packed as we're going to find out over the next hour.
Well, the qualifying session, we weren't quite sure. It was a very late gasp from our top three in order to get their good positions. I mean, it was very close, looking quite close, especially in the midfield. Over an hour-long race, we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, the conditions are brightening up even from 5 or 10 minutes ago, so it's still going to be quite tricky out there. We'll just wait and see, shall we?
So, the battle for second place in the championship, with the title already secured, we're ready to get underway here at Daytona Tamworth. Round 9, here we go.
Everywhere around the 20-strong field, you've got some good battles lined up ready for the 1 hour race here, round 9 of the Daytona DMAX Inter Enduro Championship here at Daytona Tamworth.
On the front row, Andy Spencer, Jordan Taylor. Second row, Chris Hackworth, Ryan Welch. Row 3, Ryan and Trundley. Row 4, Copping and Mahoney. Row 5, Kirk and Cook. Row 6, Bork and Cook, Seb Cook, then it's Curtis Mitchell, Daniel Russell, Stuart Shearman, Lee Carey, James Browning, Nigel Foote, John Donnelly and Chris Kirk as they come round the penultimate corner of this fantastic circuit here at Daytona Tamworth. Conditions still a little bit tetchy at the moment, but when we go green, we'll find that it's going to be full bore and pedal to the metal. They come round the final corner. Leaders are approaching our commentary position. And we go green for 1 hour, and Chris Hackworth tries to go up the inside of Jordan Taylor side by side, heading on the approach down to, and it's 3 wide. Well, it was 3 wide as Bobby Trundley has made up a couple of places already, got ahead of Torn Ryan. And Chris Hackworth, Bobby Trundley has come out of nowhere and he's gone up the inside of Chris Hackworth and Jordan Taylor. Tor Ryan's going with him. Trundley up into second, Ryan up into third already, Hackworth down to fourth, ahead of Copping. Taylor's going up the inside of Copping into turn 5. Already, this has started action from the minute we went through into turn 2, Dan.
And Bobby Trundley came, as you say, out of nowhere. 6th position on the grid, don't forget, jumped all the way up to second place already and is still hanging on to Andy Spencer by no mean feat at all. It was a clean start. We did get going at the first time of calling, but as we come into turn 10, the right-handed hairpin before 11 and 12, the left-hander, 90-degree left-hander, followed by the final hairpin. Can Bobby Trundley actually go for a move up the inside? Maybe not on this lap, but he is looking incredibly racing on the first lap.
Well, as you say that, Tor Ryan is on hot pursuit. Chris Hackworth is on his back bumper. Then it's Taylor from Copping. We then also got Ryan Welch, Anthony Kirk. Zana Mahoney is now in 9th ahead of James Cook. And Hackworth has gone side by side with Tor Ryan going into turn 4, makes the move through into turn 5. They come. It's still Andy Spencer from Bobby Trundley, Chris Hackworth, Jordan Taylor and Mike Copping rounding out the top 6.
We've already been given a penalty is Chris Hackworth, turn 4. We've not seen that really this weekend.
So in terms of his positioning at the moment, he's currently
Well, you say where he is on the road. I'll keep an eye on the timing
He's
screens.
third at the moment, ahead of Tor Ryan and Jordan Taylor, with Mike Copping down in sixth.
But he's down to 11th on the timing screens. 11th place already with the fastest lap at 56.8. But was that for... Well, could that lap be when he hit the cone? You know, we mentioned this just moments ago on the second lap. You know, that's what a way to really ruin your race.
Well, we still have plenty of time to go, Dan, even though there's a 5-second penalty for Chris Hackworth, dropping him to 11th at the moment. He's showing us third on the road on our video as we speak. So let's go on board with Tor Ryan, who's just behind Jordan Taylor, coming through the final couple of parts of this track, the Indy circuit. So through into the third from last corner, through into that lovely little sweeping left before you've got the uphill 180-degree final corner hairpin, through into turn 1, heading down towards this very fast chicane at turn 2, through the sweeping right at turn 3. Now Andy Spencer in the meantime has got a bit of a distance between himself and Bobby Trundley to the tune of at least 3 to 4 kart lengths. Chris Hackworth still showing in third on the road, but down on the timing screens, Dan, he's currently where?
Well, he's still dropping down at the moment. He's down in 6th place at the moment.
And Hackworth has just got past Bobby Trundley into turn 4, pair of side by side. So if Hackworth is aware he's got this 5-second penalty, he's got to do as much work as possible to get himself back up the order, irrespective of where he is on the road, but in terms of the timing screens.
Oh, yes, exactly. He's down in 6th at the moment, 5.8 seconds behind Andy Spencer. Just because you make a one position on the road, that means you only reduce your deficit you've got to your rival. So being so close at the moment is going to be great for Bobby Trundley and co, but it's not great for Chris, who's got to push even harder, make the position and actually make 5 seconds. Now, it's interesting, we saw Ryan Welch was the person who went off just a few moments ago. Side by side.
Wait a minute, Dan, that's Seb Cook getting in the mix there with Curtis Mitchell. Ahead of them you've got Martin Bourke and James Cook as well. So this is a real ding-dong battle as Martin Bourke's right on the back bumper of James Cook. This is for 9th out on track. Seb Cook's a place behind. Then it's Curtis Mitchell. Then you've got Daniel Russell in there as well. We've seen him in the wars earlier on this season as Martin Bourke goes up the inside. Doesn't make the move, stick into turn 4. Pulls the cart into turn 5 as well. So it's still a really good battle between James Cook and Martin Bourke for 9th place. So that sounds like a pit stop to me as Jordan Taylor's right on the back bumper of Bobby Trundley, heading through down into the approach on turn 2. It's bumper to bumper between numbers 1 and 37. So they're coming through turn 4 at the moment. Jordan Taylor sends it up and puts one past Bobby Trundley. Nice move, but yeah. Now,
did he do that in the yellow zone?
There was a yellow flag, but Jordan Taylor was very quick to react to that. Nice job by the number 37 to hold back and think, oh, I've just overtaken under yellows.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Maybe the stewards will be looking at that. It was, in fact, James Cook who caused the yellow flag, just going wide to get out of the way of everyone, as essentially he did. But maybe that just says, let's hold on just a second, we can make the move in just a few moments. But he's lost a couple of kart lengths really on that battle, hasn't he, after that?
Well, he's starting to gain it a little bit as they're coming through the final corner. Down the start-finish straight they go, heading down into turn 1. So this is one of the battles we've got to keep an eye on. Championship positioning, Dan. How are things looking at the moment?
Well, it would be, including the drop scores, 334 points for our champion Bobby Trundley. Tor Ryan would move up to 284 points, which would place him ahead, of course, of Alan Curtis. 262 points for Chris Hackworth, who has just moved back up into 4th place, has gained enough time in order to get back up into 4th.
Jordan Taylor's just got past Bobby Trundley on the inside going into turn 4. Nice clean overtake by the number 37. That puts him second on track. Trundley is fighting back as they're coming through into turn 6. This battle for second is really heating up, and it's side by side going into turn 7. Taylor's got the inside line, heading into the right-hander at turn number 8. Nice clean battling, side by side action from Bobby Trundley and Jordan Taylor for second.
Some fantastic demonstrations of racecraft. This really is showing how talented these pair are. They're still absolute nose to tail as they go through into turn 12, the final corner, the very tight right-handed hairpin and onto the flat-out stretch. Coming through turn 1.
Now the biggest thing is, Dan, we're seeing these guys using the toe effect going through from turn 1, heading down into that incredibly bumpy, undulating chicane into turn 2. Then you've got the sweeper at turn 3. It's making for some cracking overtakes as we saw yesterday.
Well, as we said yesterday as well, it's using quite a lot of core strength and upper body strength in order to really manhandle these karts around these fast corners as well as all the bumps. So it's a testament really to show how these two are going hammer and tongs side by side really as they go through the bumpier parts of the circuit trying not to touch. Nearly 20 minutes in, 18 minutes and 36 seconds completed so far. Traffic now going to become a really major part. This is what Chris Hackworth really doesn't need, because the more he gets stopped by back markers, of course, the further his penalty will take him. So he needs to get through quickly and cleanly, as does all of the race leaders, but you can understand his frustration more than anyone.
And especially when Jordan Taylor has continued to drop Bobby Trundley. He's fast closing on Chris Hackworth. This is not what Hackworth needs as he gets past one of the back markers. Now number 2 going into turn 4. Taylor is following him. Going through into turn number 5. And if Taylor gets ahead and runs away with it a little bit, that's going to be to the detriment of Chris Hackworth, who at the very early goings, just within the first 5 minutes, struck the cone on turn 11, giving him an automatic 5-second penalty from race control. And Jordan Taylor has actually got in front of Chris Hackworth.
They're trying as hard as they can through the right-hander, through the left-hander now, trying to look for a way up the inside. They both pull quite wide on the exit of 10 through 11 and 12, just the right-handed hairpin to go. Of course, they're battling. Chris, who may not realise with the penalty, of course, is going to fight hammer and tongs, which will cost him more time.
And Hackworth still thinks, just by his movements, that he's battling for track position, let alone probably not knowing that he's got a 5-second cone penalty. As they're coming through into turn 4. And we had a little bit of a look at the track earlier on, Dan, that as you get towards the Indy circuit, there's a lot of undulation, a lot of camber from one side of the circuit to the other as well. For those that want to be here on October 28th and compete in the Daytona 360 Challenge, where we'll be raising money for children in need. It's £600 a team. You can have up to 10 drivers. They will be running the Sodi carts here as well. We'll be looking to raise as much money as possible for children in need. So don't forget to visit the website at daytona.co.uk. Meanwhile, the action is still unabated here at Daytona Tamworth. Now, can you see that I can just sort of see from the way that Chris Hackworth is driving, he's probably not aware of this 5-second penalty, as I mentioned earlier on, but he still wants to keep in close proximity with Jordan Taylor. This battle that I'm really seeing with Nigel Foote getting stuck in as well is a little bit of a humdinger. Bobby Trundley, I've just been keeping an eye on him for a little bit. He's keeping it nice and clean and consistent. This 4-way scrap towards the back part of the order. Still Lee Carey and Nigel Foote at the head of that 4-kart squabble.
See there for 14th, 15th, 16th and 17th. James Banning and Stuart Shearman 16th and 17th respectively. They're a lap down, but they're still fighting at it like they're going for the race lead through turn number 4 they go. A fantastic scrap for those guys. Really enjoying themselves out there as the conditions have improved slightly at the moment.
And in terms of other drivers out on track, of course, Tor Ryan currently running 5th at the moment. A bit of a lonely race for the man who, as our championship table is predicting, is leading the fight for 2nd in the championship. Down in 5th. Behind him is Mike Copping, who if the race was to end right now, I think would be around 40 points behind. So this battle for the 2nd place in the runners-up spot in the championship, I think won't be decided here at Daytona Tamworth. It will go to Milton Keynes next month.
But Stuart Shearman has actually made it into 16th place. They go side by side down towards turn number 2 and 3. Through the very long right-hander at turn number 3, getting a little bit of a squeal on was Stuart Shearman, trying to defend from James Browning. Of course, being a lap down at the moment, they're using this to their advantage, pulling out just a little bit of a gap. Stuart looking very racy indeed.
As Nigel Foote has got past
Lee Carey
for 14th, so that battle's really been intensifying, and Nigel Foote has actually dropped Lee Carey in the process as Foote is heading down towards turn 4, and this battle being led. It's a 5-kart squabble led by Nigel Foote for 14th position, going into the last technical part of this track here at Daytona Tamworth, and Mike Copping is trying to filter his way through.
They go side by side, and Mike Copping really waving his fist saying, get out of the way.
Oh, we've seen many a gesticulation from Mike Copping. He's done the Days of Thunder, he's done the Buckmore Park, if you remember it, Mike. The shoe, get out of my way. Then it was the Days of Thunder.
Chris Hackworth has retaken third place by 0.07 of a second. He's pulled enough of a gap ahead of Bobby Trundley to get back into third place.
So let's just go on board with Mike Copping for a moment, through into the final technical complex here at Daytona Tamworth, through turn 9, into the 180-degree hairpin at turn 10, through into this very quick left-hander turn 11. You've then got a dip going into the turn 12 hairpin. Up the hill they come, across the start-finish line. Gap between him and Martin Bookdan is
0.824.
So in about the last 3 laps or
He's
so,
halved, effectively.
near enough halved. It was 1.4 seconds about 3 laps ago. Now it's to the tune of just over 0.8 of a second. We were waiting for one battle to bring themselves to our attention, and we've got that in the form of Mike Copping and Martin Book.
And they go side by side. Going into turn number 4, they were nose to tail, couldn't quite get it through. So, whilst it was briefly side by side, almost took the position, they are absolutely hammer and tongs. It's as close as it has been for laps and laps and laps onto the Indy circuit. I think I can just smell that the position is going to change soon. Well, there are 0.06 of a second off each other in terms of lap time last lap, so it's now Martin Bork's pace has become Mike Copping's pace because he's just stuck behind him.
And Copping has done a really good defensive take here this morning to hopefully clinch a top 5 finish to still keep him in the hunt for second in the championship as Martin Bork goes up the inside of Mike Copping into turn 1 to take 5th. Brilliant move coming out of the final hairpin, and Xander Mahoney's just got in the way. I think that might have clinched 5th place.
But he's trying to go up the inside coming into turn number 4. Just really struggling, and Martin Borg has gone a fantastic move up the inside, great run, and obviously with the traffic around them they've got to really pace themselves, but provisionally he's done such a good job, finally got the move taken, great run out the final corner, ran up the curb, didn't run onto the grass, just exactly what he needed to do, but running wide coming onto the Indy circuit at turn number 6, that's not what he needs at all.
But he does not need Xander Mahoney sticking his nose in where it does not belong. Quite clearly, Mahoney needs to let Copping past. He's a back marker, he does not need to get past. Okay, he wants to unlap himself, but Xander Mahoney can pretty much compromise Martin Bork's finishing position here today with just a fraction of moments remaining.
He is, though, entitled to continue racing on with him. If he's quicker, he's entitled to take the position, or retake the track position, I should say. And at the moment, he looks visibly quicker rounds turns 3 and 4. So we've got to wait and see what happens, see what pans out. But with 30 seconds left to go...
Last lap board has just been shown.
So we will get the checker flag in just a few moments' time. A fantastic race from Andy Spencer. After 63, 64 laps, will go on to a fantastic victory here at round 9.
So, round the final couple of corners comes the number 62 of Andy Spencer. He's led it pretty much from lights to flags, so will the checkered flag be prepared? It's being unfurled. Well done, Andy Spencer, taking the win at round number 9. First ever win here at Daytona Tamworth. And it's his first DMAX debut, so well done, Andy Spencer. Winner at a Daytona 24-hour, now a bona fide DMAX winner at round 9 of the championship. Jordan Taylor finishes in second ahead of Chris Hackworth. Tor Ryan finishes in 4th, and we had that fantastic battle between Mike Copping and Martin Bork, and who was the victor on that one? Yes, the man with the orange racing helmet, the number 8 of Martin Bork, coming through the field to 11th to finish ahead of Mike Copping, who did some stern defending, I might add. Rounding out the top 10, it's Ryan Welch, who finished ahead of Curtis Mitchell, Anthony Kirk and Seb Cook rounding out the 10. Dan, why don't you take us through the rest of the finishing order?
Well, with Daniel Russell in 11th place and Xander Mahoney, who had a couple of issues in 12th. James Cook and Browning were 13th and 14th, with Lee Carey, Nigel Foote, Stuart Shearman and John Donnelly running at the top 18, with Bobby Trundley and Chris Kirk retiring due to various issues. And it was a fantastic display from Andy Spencer. 8 seconds, the winning distance in the end. There is no disputing the winner. 8.091. The gap in the end goes to Andy Spencer. Congratulations to all 3 of our podium winners. Great racing out there by everyone today. Big smiles, raise your trophy in the air, Zads.
So, a fantastic end to our first Enduro of the day, the Inters. Now, Chris, we've just had a quick chat and you thought you were in second come the end of this race, didn't you?
Yeah, I think maybe the first lap around the top bend there, I don't know if it's turn 4 to second, that was maybe the only chance I got where I got hit a cone, as far as I know, so I don't know where I hit a cone, but hey, it's good enough race for exciting race. Lap down into turn 1, me and Jordan had a good scrap, Bobby, up the inside, and that's what I say, around that second corner, I don't know if that's where I got my penalty, I'm not sure, but...
No, it's within the first 5 minutes, so I could tell by your driving style that you were still full guns blazing at that man that finished second. So you said to Jake, Sandown Park, I'm going for the racing. You've shown that in spades today. You looking forward to the heats a little bit later on?
Yeah, it's a great track, like I say, it's a great track. It's a bit too tight the last corner, I don't like the last corner. So, but it's a good, exciting track, so glad to be here.
Well done, Chris. All the very best for this afternoon. Now, you've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride, and you're one step away yet again, Mr. Taylor. What happened?
I just got mugged off the start. Is the only way I can put it, dropped to 5th or 6th, I think it was. So it was difficult to gain and to try and gain on Andy as well. But, still 2 more rounds, well, this round and the next, so we'll see.
Yeah, so you got this afternoon with the heats, and then you got Milton Keynes in about 5 weeks' time. Jordan, can we see you on the top step before the season end or at the season end, mate? Because you've been promising this to me since I've been on this championship, and I'm hoping I might not be there at Milton Keynes, but I'm definitely going to be cheering you on, mate. But well done today, great job.
Thank you, yeah. Just fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for Jordan Taylor. But of course, DMAX debut, pole position, and the win. Andy, you've won a Daytona 24-hour race back in April, but now you've done it in DMAX. That must have been absolutely mega to come across the start-finish line first and knowing, oh, I've got no one behind me.
It was quite nice. I mean, I think it was down to the start. I think Jordan, like you say, got mugged a bit, and it gave me a bit of a gap, because I think those guys, if they'd stayed in the tow, probably would have stayed with me. I don't think I had much pace advantage over them, but luckily I got a bit of a break at the start, and that was enough, really.
Well done. Hopefully we see you at some more DMAX next year, Andy, because you definitely showed a clear pair of heels to the field. Dan, you got 2 guys that we watched intently, and it was the battle for 5th, Mike Copping and Martin Bork.
It was a fantastic battle. Well, let's start with you, Mike. Great stuff out there. You defended for so long, but just wasn't to be.
Yeah, it was okay. It was. I had a good start. I think I was up to about 4th. I think Jordan was just saying he got caught off the start, and I managed to get a good run, and I think got him through turn 3 or 4. The pack broke up a little bit, and I was pretty much on my own for about half an hour, and then suddenly I looked behind me. I could see this bright orange helmet, Martin closing in on me, and I said to my brother, I had a pit headset on, and said, what's my lap times like? He said they're still good. And then about 5 or 10 laps later, I just started to lose the front end. It wasn't quite biting in, especially through the last bit, which is really technical here. And I could see every time that Martin was closing on me, but I was gapping him at the bottom end of the circuit where it was a bit quicker. And it came a bit of a case of damage limitation, and then I think he got me with 2 laps in the end. So but no, it was a really good race. It was good fun. It was all very clean. A good bit of bump drafting down the straight, and I think it was a clean overtake through the last corner here. So yeah, very good. Well done, mate.
Well, Martin, very good race out there. How difficult was it just to pass him?
Well, I think judging by the fact that I spent probably, 20 minutes, 25 minutes sitting on his tail, it was tricky, because he had me, and I thought was quicker than him into turn 4. I don't.
Last year here as well, you know. I think we did this last year, and we both kept spinning off as it was raining.
Yeah. So no, I was hunting him down for a while, and then when I thought I'm going to catch him before the end of this race, and then I closed in on him, and then I thought I don't know how I'm going to get past him now. I'm quicker than him, and had a few goes. I had a good run out of the last corner a couple of times, the 2 previous laps before I finally thought, no, I'm not having any of this. You can't keep bumping me out on the first turn, so I'm coming through. And then after that, I thought he'll have a crack for the next lap. But if I can just hold him off into turn 4, then I think it'll be good.
I think I would have tried, but as you got me, Zander managed to get the run as well, unlapping himself, and managed to put a gap in the way. I went, oh no!
Yeah, you did disappear, and I was like, well,
Zander managed to put a gap on us. So
this like, defensive line, and there's no one
you were defending from Zander. I'm like, oh okay, you can carry on.
well done. That was great. It was a great battle. Cheers. Thank you.
Well done. Well, well done to both of you. If we could give you an award, I mean, I wish we could, because it was such a fantastic battle. 5th and 6th, but it might as well have been for the win in our concern. Alex, just fantastic race, wasn't it?
Yes, a winner on DMAX debut. A bridesmaid, never the bride. He's still one step away of the podium, Jordan Taylor. We've had great sportsmanship and banter from Mike Copping and Martin Bork. So that concludes round 9. Still 4 drivers in the mix for second in the championship, with the battle heading to the finale at Milton Keynes. We'll see you there for the Inter Enduros.